Irish,
Yeah.
and it goes back a certain distance, and then we run out of info, essentially. But I'll just give you some names in case you haven't heard them before. Mary Hackett was the daughter of James Joseph Hackett and Alice Cook. Nanny Hackett.
Yeah.
You know her. Alice, or Nanny Hackett, was the daughter of John Cook and Mary Ann Margaret Daly.
Ooh.
Daly.
I didn't know that,
Tell my
Dad.
friend that because
John Cook, which would be Nanny's dad, his parents were Terence Cook, who came right from Ireland, and Bridget Flanagan.
Okay, so yeah.
Yep.
we're definitely
Flanagan is
yeah.
St. Margaret's.
These names. Oh, gee.
And Mary Ann Daly's parents were Hugh Daly from Ireland and Mary Grant,
Ooh.
You baby.
also from Ireland.
You Grant.
You Grant.
He was a looker back in the day. That's what
Now on Granddaddy's side, his dad was James Hackett and his mother was Margaret Redmond.
Okay, Redmond.
Redmondville is close. to
Yeah,
St.
that's
Margaret's.
right.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Her dad was Thomas Redmond. Her mother was Margaret Wrigley or Ridgley. That's how
Okay.
you see it.
Doesn't sound very Irish.
Wrigley.
Wrigley is how they
It says
say it here in
Ireland.
We own a
Miramichi.
field somewhere now.
No, we actually own an island. 'Cause
James Hackett's parents were
Evelyn
William Hackett and Margaret Mary McDonald.
McDonald.
And her mother's name was Nancy, but we don't know what her last name was. You never know.
if I get something.
There's obviously as much of an interesting history here as we talked about already. Likely a lot more straight-laced and less, but
Married,
the
a
Irish,
man who's already married style.
yeah. But there's more to be done there. Now, interestingly, and Faye's aware of this because they've exchanged some info as well. Out of the blue, I saw that several of the items in the tree for the Hacketts that I was looking at was coming from a lady in Nova Scotia by the name of Jennifer Hackett. And I just presumed she was a distant cousin or something. It turns out she's not directly related to us at all, but her husband is.
Okay.
Her husband's name is Jerry Hackett, but not the Jerry that we would
That
know.
we know.
But a more distant Jerry.
Yeah, well, there was another Jerry here who lives in Burnaby, eh?
The first cousin of Mum's was Gerald Hackett. He lived in Strathaven, but they came up from Barnaby, but he lived in Strathaven.
Yeah, they called him Jerry, eh?
Yeah, that's right. He came to Daddy's wake, I can remember.
Yeah.
And this Jerry's grandfather was, that's a very Latin name. What's the name?
Gerald Hackett.
No, but there was another ancestor.
Oh,
And the
Uncle
granddaddy-
Nace, Uncle Nace.
Yeah,
Nace-
Ignatius.
Nace, Nace Hackett, yeah.
That was Granddaddy's brother, Nace.
So this Jennifer's husband comes from that branch of the family. The funny part about Jennifer is she's related to Hamiltons and Millers from Camilton, which makes her a relative of Janice.
Oh my gosh. And you just figured that.
Well, yeah, just
I
kind of
haven't done
double
that much
married.
research on this.
But she would be like a cousin of Janice's from the Camilton side because Janice's
See,
people
this
from
is
Dopetown.
why I'm scared to date anyone.
How you doing, guys?
Way back.
This is why Christopher met a woman in BC.
That's not even safe. That's not even
Yeah.
safe.
No.
That's not even safe.
No.
Yeah, let's get a blood test before Mom married her cousin because there's a woods there.
Back then.
That's right.
Way back then when they had cousin crashes, that's why they went so they could get, they figured they could get a date then.
Yeah, now our cousin crashes are thankfully not where we crash into each other.
Husband's grandfather was Granddaddy's brother.
Right.
Uncle Nace.
Right.
We call him
Yeah.
Uncle Nace.
Uncle Nace.
So how are you spelling that? Nace?
He lived on Princess Street in Chatham.
It's
there.
a nice way to-
It's Ignatius.
Nacious?
So who were the,
Ignatius.
Wow, so it is in the Latin
very
kind of
Catholic.
way? Yeah, okay.
the two Hackett
Do you
sisters?
know, do you know where Marion McKnight lived down by Keith Gammon's?
Yes,
Well,
yes.
that was Uncle Nace's house. That they lived in.
Okay.
They looked at Uncle Nace
Not
lived
Marion
upstairs.
McKnight. No.
Marion.
Yeah.
Marion McDonald. Marion.
Oh, that's
Mary
right. Yeah.
McKnight.
Well, you know where
Well,
Keith
she
Gammon
lived-
is.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
next door to Keith Gammon.
Okay.
They lived.
was gonna
right,
show you
and
this.
then
Yeah, I know
This
who
is
you
the letter.
mean. Yes.
They looked after Uncle Nace in his
And
house.
they're all
You know what? I didn't know
when they got the
about.
grant.
I didn't know who those two ladies were, but I knew
Yeah.
they were related somehow.
Well, they were the two.
Jason already sold his in 1870.
They lived in the States and
saw
They were
them at
Bill-
the registry office. in
Bill
Frederick, or at
Hackett?
the
Bill
archives in
Hackett's
Frederick.
dad, old Bill, not the Bill you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Faye, them two sister Hacketts, they were Bill's daughters, eh?
Yeah, and they were Marguerite. Who was the other one?
Nace would be their uncle, eh? Yeah.
What was it? What was the other one's name? I can't remember.
You do this then, honey.
We normally would.
Probably married.
Like that, like that,
What was the one
and
you know?
closer. There you go.
That's probably Marguerite.
From the bottom to the top. That sweater's
Name is
pretty.
reproduced so many
Desiree,
times.
your
The name
sweater's
Mary and
pretty.
Margaret just constantly in the Irish.
Uncle Mace's first wife
Probably
died.
not when anyone, but that's what you
He had two sons, one was right over Foley, so he never knew.
say no.
And then there was Gerald.
Is that it?
Brent,
Off the cuff?
I know that the Taylors have nothing to do with it, but you have to tell the funny story.
Okay, funny story.
I wanna
Taylor
hold
story.
something back for August, but if.
No, but we'll have lots more by then.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll find out so more
Janice and I are
dirt
going
by
to
then.
New York in a couple of weeks. And
Okay, I want to hear
not the
this.
smallest reason why is
That's the
to
river.
see these places and take some pictures.
It really is why you're going? Yeah, that's exciting.
Like, we wanted to go somewhere, we chose New York, a lot of it because of this.
Okay.
He had
Um,
6 inches up
In the
on the sand bank.
in the Yeomans thing, if we go back a little
We're
farther,
gonna drop that.
Benjamin Yeomans' wife was Fati van Houten. She was Dutch.
Wow.
Fati van Houten.
Then,
And it's Fay, Feyjte or something, how the Dutch spell it.
okay.
Fati. Her,
That's
so she was
different name.
Dutch, and we are therefore, through her, related to all the Dutch, not all, well, pretty well all the Dutch.
Yeah, maybe
that
more than
settled
one.
in New York. Yeah, but not the same kind of Dutch that the Guns and Taylors are into.
Oh, this is a different one, yeah.
Yeah. There's also, I think it's her mother or her grandmother, was a lady by the name of Nettie Springsteen
Ooh.
That's where I get my talent from.
from New Jersey. Nettie Springsteen was from New Jersey.
Yeah.
There you go.
New Jersey, New Brunswick.
Yeah. And not from the Jersey Shore. Now on the gun side, James Gunn, who was the first gun settler, he and his brother were the first two gun settlers in the Miramichi. They were members of the 42nd Highland Regiment of Scotland that had fought in the American Revolutionary War. And once the war was settled, won't say won, once the war was settled, they were offered passage back to Scotland to be landed in Halifax and try to secure a land grant or to go to St. John. They went to St. John, the two of them. They got a land grant each in Teignmouth, New Brunswick, along with the rest of the 42nd Highlanders who chose
Where the
Teignmouth.
hole in the road was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they got there, they weren't satisfied with the land they had been given. So they decided to ask to Governor Carleton, I think, to exchange their land for land in the Miramichi. And they were
Wow.
granted land in Napan, or down at Point of Caraway, and the Guns ended up down
Oh,
there.
yeah?
The Guns initially, now some obviously ended up in Maple Glen eventually, but the Guns,
third, like there's James, John, and then the other James that ended up in Mapleton.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And James's another son, like this is where I think the Taylors and
Yeah, this is true John, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah, this is true John, yeah.
Yeah.
Show her relation to the spring seeds.
Yeah.
Kelsey, it gets way worse, Kelsey.
See, you don't want to be related to the Taylors. You can hear Aurora there.
She's pretty upset by that.
So the male gun line has come down all the way to Cameron, of course, and others. The female, my father's grandmother, or great-grandmother,
At the back, Michelle.
She was a gun.
was a gun. Her name was Elizabeth Gunn. And so her dad and probably Leland's grandfather, great-grandfather would have been brothers or cousins.
We figured the great-great-grandfather, you were the same great-great-grandfather as Cameron.
Yeah, I think that's how.
That's
You're better on this than I am.
that's amazing.
I'm brain-addled, yeah. So that would make Leland and Dad like second cousins.
Yeah.
You know, which probably Dad. Well, I don't think Dad ever knew.
That's amazing.
Not that close.
So you got
I'd like to say you're
Oh yeah, pirate.
Getting there.
Okay.
James Gunn
Are you going home?
I'm gonna change her, she gonna wet.
No way.
James Gunn, when he settled in New Brunswick,
Oh, do you want-
married a girl, 16-year-old girl, whose name
Glad he married a girl.
Oh no, he didn't.
yeah, he did.
Oh, little pit.
And this was her second marriage.
Oh.
She
Oh,
was only 16.
Oh,
Brent, Brent,
She, this is her.
Yeah.
Start that over again. That-
Yeah. This is
I
good.
had to step out there.
Okay.
Okay.
James Gunn, the soldier from the 42nd Highlanders,
Yeah.
when he landed in New Brunswick in 1795, he fetched himself a wife who was a 16-year-old gal.
Oh, I missed that. What did you say?
That son of a
Too
gun.
late.
What was her name?
Her name was Emmy, E-M-I-E,
Stevenson? No.
Stymist.
Oh, yeah.
Stymist. And you said she was married before already?
This
She was
is
married
where
to a
this is where
Macaulay
Drew
before
comes
that.
in here.
And so was she widowed?
I don't know. It doesn't
She was a
say.
pole
Oh
dancer.
my gosh.
So she's in the Newcastle
She's married to Drew.
courthouse records.
They're
married
related to
James
Drew.
Gunn
Oh no.
in 1795 or
Yeah, 'cause
1796.
he came, yeah.
And when he eventually died in the 1820s, she kept his Revolutionary War pension well into the late 1840s, and she's shown on the rolls of pensioners' widows ever after that. And she would get like
Wow.
£10 a year or whatever, and they'd have, and her name is listed over and over again all through each year. And I found all that. It's in the New Brunswick archives, and she's shown as a recipient of pension for her late husband James Gunn.
And what was James's brother's name?
I think it was
John and
Alexander.
Ben.
Alexander.
John-
Sandy.
oh, yeah,
That's
Alexander, yeah.
Sandy's
Yeah.
Point in Black.
Sandy's
in
Point,
Black
Black
River.
River, yeah.
It was donated.
Yeah.
Was donated.
Which
by
is
him.
where the graveyard is.
That's
where
right.
I'm going there tomorrow to do.
Are you?
look at
Well, you
this,
make
yeah.
sure there's guns there. You'll see them. We've got pictures of
All the
them.
good guns are
They're
there.
hard.
Oh, the only good guns.
Brent, there's two sections of that cemetery.
I hear that. There's a really old spot.
Yes,
It's
it's
part-
down to the right-hand side of the church. The
Okay.
church sits this way,
Yeah.
and there's a, like, the back of the church, there's part of the cemetery. But to the right of the church, you can go in behind the church and go down that way, and you can go right down as far as you can go and come right back up again if it's not too soft.
Right.
And down that section on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And if you look at one of the oldest, I think, was
Did you get
it's a
it,
flat
Deborah?
stone that's laying, great big slab, about 3 times as big as that table, laying
Right.
that way.
I thought that was a
that
Macbeth.
was a gun, I think.
I thought
Okay.
that was a Macbeth.
I
It's
think
very
it was a
flat
gun.
stone.
I think it was a-
Yeah.
We'll do
And
some
there's
digging
also
tomorrow.
tall, slim
down
one,
and didn't
which
get
is the
up.
There
old.
wasn't a whole
There's
lot of
monument
guns
to
around
James
here,
that
was
Put
there?
up by some descendants eventually.
Yes.
Although it's not necessarily that.
So you're going there tomorrow if you can get in.
Yeah.
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 James just wanted for the ride. so
Which one's that?
The Black River Cemetery.
Black
The Black
Cemetery.
River.
That's why they call it Sandy Point, because it was donated, as they say, by Alexander Gunn.
Now this Emmy that James married, Emmy Stymist.
So is it not Amy? It's not
Well,
E-M-I-E,
it's been
is it?
written
Written many ways.
3
okay.
different ways. I've
Yeah,
seen
'cause I-
E-M-I-E,
yeah.
E-M-M-Y, and
Oh,
A-M-Y.
yeah. Mhm.
Back then they didn't write a lot,
No,
so
exactly.
just however
How
it
it
sounded.
sounded,
Yeah.
yeah.
Her dad was Benjamin Stymist, who was a loyalist from New York.
Okay.
Benjamin
A
Stymist
lot of connections
lived
to New
on the
York.
same street as Benjamin Yeoman.
That is so
No.
Maybe knew each
How
other,
weird
maybe
is
not.
that?
That is.
To think
Yeah.
that years later.
To
yeah,
wrap,
family.
make that
Actually, I said same
connection.
street, I meant same block, but it's
Yeah.
the same block of buildings. Benjamin Stymist was a 3rd generation or 4th generation Stymist. That's what we call him, Stymist. But when they were still in New York, he was Dutch. His last name was Steinmetz, S-T-E-Y-N-M-E-T-S.
Different writings
Yeah.
in the different writings.
And his grandfather was Casper Steinmetz.
That was
Casper the Ghost.
Ca-
I've never heard that name used outside
As
of
a-
Casper the
yeah.
Ghost.
Now I know.
Casper's wife was a gal by the name of Sarah Emons, E-M-O-N-S.
That has to be from Yemen's, wouldn't it be?
It's possible,
Possible,
but the
yeah.
Emonses were Dutch and the
Okay.
Emonses were English.
Okay, so
If you went
yeah,
back another
totally.
200
But-
years, maybe.
But
Okay.
the English don't originate from England. They originate from Germany and Norway and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it could be possible.
It could be.
Little history fact on
Sarah
top of
Emons,
that.
her mother was also named her grandmother was also named Sarah, and she was the daughter of interesting people. These are for the guns and the tailors. Her mother was a lady by the name of Greety Reiners.
Greety Reiners.
Greety Reiners. Greitije is how you spell it.
Really?
And she was, you can look her up, she's on Google, Wikipedia, wherever. She's New York City's first prostitute.
No! Oh, that's amazing! To be the first.
Her father was,
How could they prove that, I wonder, right?
well, look at her bank account, I guess.
I don't know, but she's related to everybody.
No, everybody's related to her.
Her husband, his name was Anthony Jansen Van Soleil, who was half Dutch, half Moroccan pirate,
Oh, wow. Wow.
who was a tall, dark fellow, and his nickname was the Turk.
Oh.
He was America's first Muslim.
Wow,
Oh my gosh. This is quite the dirt. Yeah.
When she had her third daughter, she asked the midwife, "What color is it?"
No. That is